Hi, buying a new house? Well, here's a few tips and things that I wish my parents had told me. Never underestimate the value of land. When looking for a house, go for the biggest plot. It's also worth noting that you might at some stage be able to sell off some of your land. The advantage of an end house is that quite often it has the additional bit of land. Now, you might not be thinking of an extension when you first buy your house, but once the family does begin to grow, or you decide that you don't actually want to move because it would cost you more to actually buy something bigger than extend, it's at this stage when that piece of additional land comes into its own, and then you can apply for planning permission, which is a lot easier to get now, and extend your home without incurring all of the additional house move costs. I mention a long drive because if you look at this photograph, you can see the potential for extending to the left hand side. You've actually got a long drive in front of the house, so you could actually move the garage forward and extend your house to the side and possibly further back as well. You could even have an L-shaped house, which would give you the benefit of the downstairs bedrooms, perhaps a granny flat or something. You may even decide that you just want a front porch and maybe a wet room. Having a long front garden would enable you to do this. A large garden at the back would also enable you to have a really large kitchen and dining room extension, and possibly even a wet room. So you could even have bedrooms at the back. I mean, the potential with larger gardens is just absolutely phenomenal. You may be thinking that a two-bedroomed is all you need, but really you need to plan ahead. Whether you're thinking of having a family at some point or not, it has the potential selling power and enables you to sell faster. So I would always recommend going for a three-bedroomed or even more if you can. I'd also recommend that you start thinking about maybe an office. It's really becoming quite prevalent, especially during COVID-19, where people are starting to work from home. If you do have a family, then it enables you to just have your quiet place. Some people maybe want a home gym. Depends that what you're going to do with that room. We've had a room downstairs and we've used it initially as an office. We then used it as a gym, and then as the children turned into teenagers, we turned it into a second lounge. That enables their friends to come round to our house, and it gives us the advantage of being able to have a look at their friends and make some judgments and have some opinions about those. So that was always a good thing. And as my parents are getting older and my teenage children are growing, that room will then turn into a fifth bedroom, a downstairs bedroom, and then we will be extending the front and having a wet room so we can have our parents round. So these are all the things that might not be important to you right now when you're first time buying, or you're just sort of thinking about yourself or just your partner, but it is really, really sensible to think about all of these things right now. Think it through really carefully and just go for the most that you can afford. Don't just think, oh well, that would allow us to furnish the home and maybe enjoy some expensive holidays abroad. Just stretch yourselves that little bit more. Think about your surroundings as well. So are there any good cycle routes? Is it a flat area for you to cycle in? What are the schools like? Have they got a good Ofsted report, or is it a failing school? Again, these might not be things that you want right now, but in the long term, these are the things that you do not really want to be moving house for. So you do need to think about your primary schools, and of course your high schools and colleges and universities as well, and planning ahead for that, and just maybe popping some money aside for that just in case scenario. The bad news is that you're going to get old, and believe me, it happens a lot faster than you think it's going to. So make sure that you do have a private pension plan and maximise your savings the best way that you possibly can. With such low interest rates, the better option is for your tax-free ISAs. And you really do need to think about putting as much money as you possibly can into your private pension funds and topping this up whenever you get the chance. We're all living longer lives these days, and you don't want to be the type of person that's looking out and watching everyone else in retirement having a great time, having those wonderful holidays and sailing around the world, and you're just an onlooker. So make sure that you have planned, and that you've saved those pennies and done the best that you can, so that when you do get old, you can do this and feel that you're able to do lots of things that you'd planned to do and have the money to do it. Financial security in old age is so important, and when you're young, I don't really think you realise just how important this is. And finally, don't forget to use all of your social media networks like Facebook and Google search engines. When you're moving into an area, these things can really help you to establish all about the community, the safety aspects, neighbourhood watch and crime rates and various other things as well. So don't feel lonely either now or as you're growing older, because you could even set up your own group on Facebook, which is one of the things that I've done, because I had nobody in the family that liked paddleboarding. So I've set up my own group and I've now got over 400 members, and that's growing rapidly. So anytime I want to go out and do a paddle, I never have to go out on my own now. And the great thing about that is that I get to socialise and meet lots of new people. So yeah, don't be afraid to put yourself out there in a new area and find out what groups are out there. You've got lots of walking groups and badminton groups, and probably some of the local cafes might do things for the elderly as well. So have a look around, have a look in the shops for magazines. Certainly in villages they tend to have their own monthly magazine, and you can find out what's going on and how to socialise there. So yeah, take care of yourselves and have a long and fruitful, enjoyable and healthy life.